Peace to the tribe. Peace to the collective. Damn. Forgot to take my zombie apocalypse. My little pre-workout fixings. Oh, shit. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right now. The title of this video is Ritual Magic, and I'm going to talk about the purpose of ritual magic, which can help you in your spiritual journey, in your spiritual development. Okay? So when you think about magic, when you think about spirituality, when you think about all of these cool things, you might utilize it for, you know, making a house or, you know, whatever you want to use it for, attracting something, getting something out of life, whatever, right? But what if I told you that ritual magic has a specific purpose and a specific understanding, and the levels and layers for which you understand spiritualism just is a representation of where you are at? But if you can't look at it as if it is the purest form of religiosity or spirituality. One of the key things about magic and spiritual development is that there is no hierarchy. The very simple truth of this thing is that we are conscious beings. So as a conscious being, I'm gonna elucidate something to you. It could be your kid and it could be you, right? You have a conscious mind, experiences, and lifetimes of memories, and your kid have experiences and a lifetime of memories. But everything that you're thinking about and everything that your kid is thinking about is illusionary thought. The basis of understanding of you and your child is consciousness. So families that do not meditate together are usually in some form of chaos, some form of misdirection, for which you have an environment where egos run the show. Why is that a problem? An analogy that we're going to use as the ego would be a carriage. And to further that analogy, we say that the soul is the horses. So within the carriage is your thoughts, emotions, feelings, experience, etc. If you predicate everything that you do based upon your thoughts, emotions, and feelings, it will not pull the horses. The horses are just too fucking heavy. So your horses, your soul, would be a conglomeration or a whole big library of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and experiences, etc. So in reference to having a larger, wider destiny, in reference to the spiritual body or the soul, that this life or the carriage is just kind of like, you don't really got to do nothing in the carriage but kind of fall back and sit back. Even the driver of the carriage is not in the carriage. The driver of the carriage is on top of the carriage directing the horses. So we can use the driver of the horses, I don't know what you call that person, that's your higher self. He's going to direct the horses one way or another way, right? You as an ego, you as a person with emotions, experiences, etc., have to just fucking fall back, right? So ritual magic. When we embark on this journey called life, we are not told the truth about who we are. We do not see ourselves. We do not understand the subtle nature of the spirit, and a lot of people don't understand it now to this day. Many people are still trying to justify or wrap their mind around the vessel, the house, the external, and then trying to incorporate spiritual ideals and spiritual technologies within their vessel. So nicer house, nicer car, nicer life. When you discuss magic at its first level, where it be like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, David Blaine, niggas like that, what they're doing is doing illusions, right? Illusions. There's illusionary magic. It's like, oh my God, he shocked me, he surprised me, right? That's the first level of magic. And then you might start reading niggas like Aleister Crowley, Pascal Beverly Randolph, Eliphas Levi, you know, traditional ceremonial magicians. These people do magic in a ritual way. Then you talk about like the government, Hitler, people like that. They do rituals on a mass scale. Freemasons, they do rituals on a different scale. Now, the deepest level would be you understanding the power of rituals, and then the reason for to do a ritual or to understand magic. If all of these things are happening on all of these different levels, what does that say about you? Would be the question. If you could ever get to that level, because a lot of people within the spiritual community, to their own detriment, will point out a ritual that somebody else is doing. Now, I did a new moon video about every new moon, its intentions and rituals. Every month since goddamn September, the government, in collaboration with the entertainment industry, have been doing rituals every new moon, harvesting young black men and women's life force bodies, because these young black men and women have chosen not to do rituals themselves, because they don't feel that they need to do rituals in a world where everything is low-key a ritual, meaning that you got to pay your bills in a cycle. And if you don't pay your bills in a ritualistic fashion, you won't have no place to stay. So what does this say deeply? This says that if you do not set personal intentions in your life, somebody else will definitely set intentions for you. So where you might say you don't have no intention in your heart, it's a lot of people who don't have no intention will say, I'm going to this concert to see this idol and worship at the throne of this idol during a new moon time, and willingly give my spiritual energy, because what you going to be doing? Singing, yelling, dancing in an altered state of consciousness, which is the window to spiritual development. All of these things can be done on a personal level with your personal intentions attached to it, or deeper, because even that's an illusion. Your soul's intention, and integrating your soul's intention every single day of your life to create your reality. If you do not recognize yourself as a spiritual being, you will just simply be used for your spiritual energy, one, and then externalize or worship or idolize other people outside of yourself, because you don't see that you actually have a soul. So what is the purpose of ritual? What's the purpose of magic? It is to open the gateways of consciousness for you to see yourself. We don't see ourselves based upon the ego consciousness. I'm gonna have to say that for the next 10 years. Y'all understand that? The fact that I say shit it's almost like it don't really resonate with people because the ego consciousness is that strong. People really feel like they are the names that their parents have given them. People actually feel like the people are in their family are actually their family. But this is vessel talk. This is vehicle talk. It's like if a car is in a car lot and it's all Chevys on the car lot. What does it actually mean? Does it mean that does it mean that the Chevys have to meet up every other month for a celebration because they're a part of the same car lot? They're from the same car company? No. Every car goes their own way. Every soul goes their own way and embarks on their own life mission. And that and spiritual development is that. That's why spiritual people are black sheeps in their family. That's why spiritual people don't get along with everybody in the same way that everybody get along. They be laughing and having a good time and no shit about shit, and you just be on the outside looking in like, oh, that's interesting, they got that bond like that. You could be so awkward and so out of touch with reality because you are so out of touch with yourself, because you cannot ponder upon the soul. When I started this video, I said you and your child can be in the same place, and because you have more thoughts, emotions, depth, experiences, you imagine that those illusionary thoughts create some level of superiority between you and your child, because your child have not created a mind full of illusions quite yet. Instead of understanding spirituality through your child, meaning that meditating and centering and clearing the mind and creating a lifestyle around meditation, around clarity, around spiritual development, we tend to want to buy our kids more and more shit. Take care of our kids, make sure that they look attractive and things of that nature. But like I said, our parents aren't really our parents. Our parents are just what you call that, mediums, or just portals for you to exist. It's not to say that you hate anybody or disrespect anybody any less, but as a spiritual being, you are a sovereign God, deity, divine being that is perfect, that is psychic, that is non-physical. You don't exist entirely in your body. Certain things people like to talk about, such as like lucid dreams. Well, it's going to be hard to have a lucid dream if you're thinking about everything that you're thinking about as far as the vessel. It's very simple to lucid dream when you realize that once you go to sleep, your spirit exits out your body and into a world of all different types of cosmic realities, different parallel dimensions. It's so deep now in 2023 that you wake up in different paradigms. You wake up in different realities. You can wake up in a world where something is not there anymore, or something don't work anymore. Like some days I wake up in paradigms where I got a laptop and it work. Some days I wake up in paradigms where my laptop don't work. Yesterday my laptop just didn't work in that dimension. Life is very spiritual. Life is very integral, but you would never know that if you got family and friends and social situations that keep you bound to some type of weird code. You got to be here on this day. You got to feel this and feel that. And when I call you, you got to answer the phone. And if you just want to be free, you can't actually do that without being ostracized or looked at negatively, or to be felt like a black sheep. If all of these things were right and exact, when you decide to stand in your spiritual truth, motherfuckers would be expecting that. People would be supporting your freedom. People would be supporting your prosperity. Come to think about it, I have multiple successful businesses, and I don't rely on my family for none of the finances in reference to what we could do together as a family. And maybe you got a situation like that, and that's great. But if you don't have a situation like that, that's not no fucking excuse. Because your spiritual family and your soul family is always available to support you and can support you 10 times better than the actual people in your life who are just portals for your development. The real you, the true you, have everything already figured out. Back to my analogy as the carriage. When you spend your day in your ego, you are wasting time. And the only way that you know you're not spending time in your ego is when you purify and clear the mind. So as I was reflecting on this thought, I say this, but what does that actually look like? Well, you could fast. You could journal. You could take a walk. You could do something different. You could do something drastic. You could really switch the energy up so you could actually tap into your consciousness. Because at first it's a very lonely world when you break left or you break right. But you got to give it time to kind of settle in, and you got to really tune into yourself. Because sometimes we look at the world and we want the world to engage with us. We want the world to fuck with us. And that make a lot of sense. But I'm going to tell you, it's a different way. It's a magical, ritualistic way to tap into all of the things that you want. And it's called spiritual development. It's called silencing the mind, quieting the mind. Y'all motherfuckers are OD anxiety patients, anxious about reality. These are products of the ego. As spiritual beings, you are not the ego. So if the ego gets sick, you are not sick. If the ego is kicked out of its apartment, you are not kicked out of your apartment. If the ego get punched in the face, you did not get punched in the face. If the ego is upset, you are not upset. You are witnessing. You are having a disassociative reality of witnessing a part of you having a specific experience. The ego's legs are chopped off. Your legs are not chopped off because you don't have legs. You are a non-physical spiritual entity that is housed within the body. And the problem with what I'm saying, the reason why I got to say this for 10 years straight is because people are spiritually dead because at the crux and root of their experience, all they want is sex. They might not talk about it. They might not verbalize it. They might not express it. But since you've been 12, you've been sexually active. And since you've been in society, you never had to stand on what you do sexually. You don't have to go into work and say, all right, James, how many times did you jerk off yesterday? And what porn did you watch? Oh, you've been watching that transsexual porn again, huh? Was it good? Tell us about the experience. See, all of these micro illusions go into the brain and they create or they mold you at a spiritual level. So when we talk about spirituality, we never talk about you being a fucking sexual deviant, do we? As if there's going to be a situation for which you are going to enter into the spiritual kingdom in your sexual deviancy. This is another reason why y'all know everything that spiritual niggas got to say, but when it comes to the ritual, magical performance of your life, it's non-existent. When it comes to unfolding and telling the story of your soul, is non-existent, because when it comes to the sincerity or the connection of the soul, some of these things cannot be mistaken They can't be conflated with two different things. It's clear. You're going to clear your mind, you're going to meditate, and you're going to journal. Because if you don't journal, you're just making shit up, and your ego is creating imaginations in your head. Journal your fucking intentions. Journal your fucking results. Journal your workings. Journal your thoughts. Journal your visions. Because when they come true, you have actual proof that you are a psychic being. When you put your intentions down and you manifest your intentions, is because you've written it. Now, the reason that I'm saying it is because I have to say this for 10 years too, because I can say this in every fucking video and they go one ear, not the other, because niggas are spiritually dead because niggas only care about having sex. Whether they having it or not. Meaning that if you get locked in a room with your fantasy bitch, or your fantasy nigga, you ain't gonna be able to control yourself. Meaning that your kundalini is dormant, because kundalini don't act like that. Kundalini is being in a dream scenario, and your dream girl dropping it low, and you saying, well, we should monetize this situation. Because I want to say something, but I don't necessarily think people are ready or even understand what I'm talking about. It's a lot of men in this world that have broken a lot of women by being sexually active and aggressive. To whereas when we get to, this is why when you get on the internet and you type tarot card, or you type astrology, or you type spirituality, you get these women, you get millions of women talking shit. If all of these women can have an inconcise messaging in reference to what this tarot card mean, what this astrology mean, what this spirit is saying, what this medium is saying, these bitches be so spiritual, be having all of this drama going on in the background, real talk, crazy shit, because none of this spiritual shit is fake. Nobody said it was fake, but motherfuckers open the door, don't have no ethics, don't have no understanding, just feel like I'm here for clout, I'm gonna get it for clout, and they get it for clout, and now they run off with the church's money, right? Y'all probably don't understand, and it's cool, but I'm just kind of getting ready to have a great workout, so this is just kind of my little pep talk, so y'all just gonna have to mind me for a second. They run off with the church's money, and nothing has been developed within you, because spiritual development have existed since human beings have existed, and technology have existed in a very short amount of time. So the feelings that y'all have for technological superstars might be more in reference to the technology. Now, technology goes back to Cain, Tubal Cain, which are these people who are so smart, but they are murderers. And they murder through technology. What do they murder? They murder their mind, they murder their connection. So what was, and that's not the point of what I'm saying. The point of what I'm saying is, if spiritual development have existed for millions of years before niggas got iPhones, then how did it happen? I'm gonna tell you how it happened. It happened internally, it happened spontaneously, and it happened from niggas who was writing their experiences down. That was the technology. When you have an experience, and you experience it, and you witness it, and you have a conscious revelation, you journal it. So as you go through these processes, these real ritual, magical processes, this is your soul telling you, initiating you, guiding you, leading you. And I'm gonna tell you, you don't want nobody else guiding you in this spiritual shit. You don't want no guru. You don't want no bitch that you talking to every day about spiritual development, because that bitch don't know shit. That bitch is a scam artist. That bitch is a pimp. That bitch is a Mac. That bitch is getting her fucking coin. You feel me? That bitch is in her masculine energy and using all of the spiritual mumbo jumbo words on top of the fact that, bitch, give me your money. My Cash App is this. What's your credit card number, ho? Yeah, you can get all of this special information after you fucking pay me. How much money did y'all pay on this, however many people on this live for this information? If this information was good and beneficial, how much did I fucking charge you for it? Cause that's how this shit work. Ain't no secret sauce. You are the fucking secret sauce. Ain't no fucking mystery to this shit. You are the mystery. People think that it's a price for this shit. People think that this shit costs money. And the price is for you to quiet your mind. That shit is excruciating. To silence your mind. Yeah, it's that fucking simple. Because every fucking thought that you have is in reference to an illusion. In reference to the ego. So if you don't silence your mind, if you don't still the body, if you do not get out of the ego, you only going to want to pay these hoes money for readings, consultations. Because your mind is just like this. And there's nothing that anybody can do for you until you realize who you are as a spiritual being. And honestly, meditation is a curse word to niggas. And it ain't as simple as meditate. You gotta understand why you meditating. You gotta meditate to shut the ego off so the soul can activate. If you don't understand that paradigm, or if you don't understand the reasons of why you're actually meditating, you're not even gonna meditate with the proper energy. It'll be the same way as if I'm telling you tomorrow is Christmas. Now you going to sleep with a certain type of energy because you're going to wake up to presents and shit. You could hardly sleep. If I told you tomorrow you got to go to school, it's a different type of energy. So when I say, why do you meditate? If you don't have a proper why, then fuck off. Do some cartwheels in the middle of the streets. It don't fucking matter. If you don't want to meditate, then fucking shake your ass at a fucking Jamaican strip club or some shit. I don't know. It's a whole reasoning to motivate you to understand who you are. More important than what you actually do. And you meditate because everything else is you in the form of thinking and acting and engaging with the ego. And the ego have a way of integrating itself into the spiritual development. Especially if you masculine. Nothing satisfies a masculine feminine than spirituality. Because it's the automatic solve-all for all of this masculine energy. So what's masculine energy? Masculine energy is when you was young and moldable. This is why you was so happy when your first love happened and you was really tuned in and tapped in. But when it didn't turn out right, it kind of crystallized. And when something crystallized, it gets hard. That's like masculine energy. Masculine energy is hard. It's crystallized. It don't give a fuck. It's about to get this money. take care of itself, and everybody can fuck off. Well, when you think of the feminine is soft and moldable, and you know, you ever been playing in some butt cheeks? Butt cheeks ain't really hard like that. They real wavy, like they, you know, it's just like. But when that wavy energy crystallize, it's hard to talk spiritual shit with y'all. It's real hard to talk spiritual shit with y'all. So at a certain point, hoes gonna need to hop in vinegar baths, soften their energy up, meditate, get soft so you can become moldable. Find a man that's wanting to mold you, because that's the game. A woman has to choose a man. You shouldn't be no sitting duck and having all of these lames pursue you and all of that shit. You don't know why that nigga pursuing you. You need to do research on the nigga. You need to be all in the nigga's business, all in the nigga's energy. Figure that part out, and then be moldable.